Antoine Busnois was a Netherlandish composer and poet of the early Renaissance Burgundian school, while also noted as a composer of motets and other sacred music. He was one of the most renowned 15th-century composers of secular chansons. He was the leading figure of the late Burgundian school after the death of Guillaume Dufay. Biography. While details of his early life are largely conjectural, he was probably from the vicinity of Bethune in the Pas-de-Calais, possibly the hamlet of Busnois, to which his name seems to refer. He may have been related to the aristocratic family of Busnois, in particular a Philippe de Busnois, canon of Notre Dame in Lens, could have been a relative. He clearly received an excellent musical education, probably at a church choir school somewhere in northern or central France. An aristocratic origin may explain his early association with the French royal court. As early as the 1450s references to him appear there, and in 1461 he was a chaplain at Tours. That he was not entirely a man of peace is indicated by a petition for absolution he filed in Tours, dated the 28th of February 1461, in which he admitted to being part of a group that beat up a priest to the point of bloodshed, not once but 5 times. While in a state of anathema he was foolhardy enough to celebrate Mass although he was not an ordained priest, an act which got him excommunicated until Pope Pius II pardoned him. He moved from the cathedral to the collegiate church of St. Martin, also in Tours, where he became a subdeacon in 1465. Johannes Ockham was treasurer at that institution, and the two composers seem to have known each other well. Later in 1465 Busnois moved to Poitiers, where he not only became master of the choir boys but managed to attract a flood of talented singers from the entire region. By this time his reputation as singing teacher, scholar and composer seems to have spread widely, but he departed in 1466 just as suddenly as he came for no known reason, and the former maîtrise was given his old job back. He then moved to Burgundy. Busnois was at the Burgundian court by 1467. His first compositions there appeared immediately before the accession of Charles as Duke on the 15th of June. Since one of his motets, in Hydraulis, contains a dedication to Charles calling him Count, on becoming Duke of Burgundy, he quickly became known as Charles the Bold for his fierce and sometimes reckless military adventurism. But Charles loved not only war but music, appreciating and rewarding Busnois for works composed while in his service, who was also listed along with Hein van Gyschem and Adrian Basson as chantre valet de chambre to Charles in 1467. In addition to serving Charles as singer and composer, Busnois accompanied the Duke on his military campaigns, as did Hein van Gyschem. Busnois was at the Siege of Neuss in Germany in 1475, and survived the disastrous Battle of Nancy in 1477, at which Charles was killed and Burgundian expansion was ended forthwith and forever. Busnois remained in the employ of the Burgundian court until 1482, but nothing exact is known about his exploits between then and the year of his death, 1492, while working at the Church of St. Sauveur in Bruges. He was one of the most renowned composers of his time, whose music circulated widely. Works and style. Busnois' contemporary reputation was immense. He was probably the best-known musician in Europe between Guillaume Dufay and Johannes Ockham. He wrote sacred and secular music. Of the former, 2 cantus firmus masses and 8 motets have survived, while many others were most likely lost. He set the Marian antiphon Regina Coeli several times. Stylistically, his music can be considered a midpoint between the simplicity and homophonic textures of Dufay and Busnois, and the soon-to-be pervasive imitative counterpoint of Josquin and Gombert. He used imitation only occasionally but but skillfully created smooth and singable melodic lines and had a strong feeling for triadic sonorities, anticipating 16th-century practice. According to Pietro Aaron, Busnois may have been the composer of the famous tune L'Homme Armé, one of the most widely distributed melodies of the Renaissance and the one more often used than any other as a cantus firmus in mass composition. Whether or not he wrote the first mass based on L'Homme Armé, his was by far the most influential. Obrecht's setting, for example, closely parallels that of Busnois, and even Dufay's quotes from it directly. Richard Taruskin attempts to prove that Busnois was the model later L'Homme Armé masses were based upon through a study of the composer's numerological symbology within the work, and by demonstrating that Dufay and others were emulating to this aspect, among others. David Fallows points out that the complexity of the Busnois mass may indicate that he was actually borrowing from Dufay. Busnois may even be the composer of a cycle of 6 masses all based on the same tune, found in Naples, on the basis of stylistic comparison. But Busnois' chansons are the works on which his reputation mainly rests. Most are rondo, but some are bergerets. Many of them achieved the status of popular songs, and some were perhaps based on other popular songs which are now lost. He probably read the words for almost all of his chansons. Some of his tunes were recycled as cantus firmus for masses composed more than a generation after his death. For instance, Fortuna Desperata, an unusual chanson, is Terrible Dame, which is not only an antiphonal dialogue but has an Old French title requiring no special skill to translate. While most of Busnois's secular songs are set to French words, at least 2 employ Italian texts and 1 is in Flemish. Most are for 3 voices, although there are a few for 4. Works: Masses Missa L'Homme Armé, Missa au Crux Lignum, Patrim Village. Masses conjecturally attributed to Busnois: Missa l'Ardent Désir, Missa L'Homme Armé, 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 Missa Sine Nomine, Missa Quant Cev Entra. Motets and Magnificats ad conum agni providi. Alleluia, verbum caro factum est, anima me liquefacta est, stirps Jesse. Antonius Climina, asperges me, condita alm ciderum, gaud coalesces domina, in hydraulis. Lamentation on the death of Guillaume Dufay. Magnificat sextitoni, Noel, Regina Caeli, Regina Caeli, victimae paschali laudes. Magnificats and motets conjecturally attributed to Busnois: Magnificat octavi toni, Magnificat secundi toni, incomprehensibile praeterem ordinem. Secular music accords moi, advenque advenir pura, amors naus trite j'aime voi, qui vens tutis coquilles, ogia acuta mesiculx, et un dame, o pauvre par necessite, vous, sans autre, bellicule, bon chi acutae, est par moi, c'est bien mala, c'est vous en qui, contuta genalca, cordina, duquel mariage, sidit benediciti, en soustenant, en taus leslia, en voyant dame, saint il merci, fites de moi, foul ex medisans, fortuna desperata, fortune trop tu est ur, how cavil, in means in, ya luini, ji mains de bien. Ji priamors ta terribles, je m'espère de vous, je n'y demande alta degré, je n'y demande lialte, je n'y puis vivre ainsi, joy me fuit, laissez danger, la utria la pisa en l'ombre du buissonnet, trop sui jonet, la utria que passa, la course San Virginia, la mondatel, mademoiselle, maintes femmes, Ma plus quasse, ma très souveraine princesse, aimez vostre cueilleur, mon mignot, gracieuse, plaisant, mon seul single souvenir, on a grand mal, on est bien malade, pour entretenir mes amours, pugelot, quant j'ai au cueilleur, quant vous me ferez, quelque pauvre homme, res joitoiter de France, rex pacificus, sur le pas moi, soudiment mon cueilleur, terrible dame, un filerest, si compagnon, vostre amour, un grand pauvre homme, un plus quatorze, vostre beauté vous marchez, vostre gracieuse acquaintance, works with conflicting attribution amours fait molt il est de binhur ne acute tant que noster argent dura, send mal escus, et qui le dira, j'ai bien choisi, il sera pour vous qu'un bateau l'homme armé, je ne fais plus, je suis benu, le serviteur, quant si vendra, sans avoir, chez brief puis, sans samples.